Hi, so it's me back, day number 2, video number 1. I'm here with more of an outline today. And I just want to get into it by talking about how I kind of started down this direction in my own personal life. So I actually have suffered a lot from illnesses in my life. I get really bad migraines. I'm sure many of you may be able to relate to that, or some people not at all. Migraines seem to affect people either fully or not. So anyway, so lately, like for some time now, I've been feeling really, really good. It's amazing to have this feeling. I've kind of dreamed for it and wished for it for like my whole life. And now being in a state where I wake up and it's been another day where I feel good and I can accomplish things again, and not get stuck up with illnesses or rashes or things that hold you back in your life and in your day and stuff like that. So I do fidget a lot. I noticed this on the videos. I notice I watch videos of people and they're usually just like talking and they'll use hands, but they do not fidget and fuss around as much as I do. So working on that. But anyway, so me feeling good and having like to not have to deal with setbacks from illnesses, it's just allowed me the opportunity and the space to open up a little bit and to maybe just like let people get to know me a little bit better. Or I always I feel like I have a lot of masks and a lot of like sometimes there's a false sense about me because I feel like I come off flaky sometimes, but it's not intentional. It's because I get sick, and when I'm sick, I'm out. I completely can black out for like 3 days on these migraines. They're rough. So anyway, now moving on to topic. Today, I want to talk about the types of traits and personality types that attract narcissists to people, mostly women. I mean, you watch any other of these videos and they refer to the narcissist as he, and the, I don't know, the survivor, the victim, the prey, the unsuspecting person, the other person in that relationship is female. So I hope you don't mind if I just continue doing that as well. Nothing personal, just that's kind of like statistically how it goes. So one thing I wanted to kind of touch on is like, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there was like a clinical psychologist, and she was in a room where I'm not even actually sure if the doctor's a male or female, so forgive me for that. There was a situation where they were having an open discussion with abusers, psychological abusers, physical abusers, manipulators, narcissists, etc. And they were posed the question of, how long would you wait before you start abusing your victim? And they, like any normal person talking over a lunch date, discussed when the perfect time to start abusing your victim would be. And apparently they all unanimously agreed that 2 years was the right amount of time to start abusing your victim, because at that point you have already laid down a foundation. You've created a life with that person. You've made them feel safe. They're trapped. They're beyond trapped. And that is psycho to me, that someone would be that methodical about their needs for abuse. So that putting that much effort into love bombing someone and making them feel safe and securing them just so you can abuse them, like that need is a clear psychological disorder. And like bipolar disorder, that can be treated. That is, clinically treated, lots of therapy, acknowledgement, and medication. However, I would like to clarify that narcissism and the NDP diagnosis is not treatable. It is a lifelong personality disorder that you have to live with, that therapy can help. Like there's things that can help, but again, people who are narcissistic rarely tend to get help. And from my understanding, is they're usually the people that, and don't hate on me for saying this, but they're usually the people that end up in the more senile spectrum in their elder years, because they've constantly put on masks, lived within their false self, constantly surround themselves, with things that only serve the purpose of their ego. They only use people for their needs, not actually to fulfill anything honestly. And a lot of people in their narcissistic supply system and their family system even allow them to continue with these delusions. And as they get older, it's just easier to sometimes agree. Like I won't lie, like I have one grandma who's 105 years old and great grandma, and she's just a rock. Like she's just completely there. It's bam, it's amazing. And then I had another grandma who was somewhat strange, and she was very convinced people were coming into her place and eating her chicken, and just those weird kind of things where and she had Alzheimer's as well. So not sure, like again, I only knew her at a certain point in my life, but that's the kind of, I remember catering to her and just being like, it was easier to empathize with her about the chicken than it was to say, hey, that didn't happen. Like I know it didn't happen actually, because I kind of like did some investigating, but at the end of the day, it was just like a way for her to get this empathy that she didn't know how to ask for. So that kind of stuff just sort of escalates as they become older. They start doing erratic things that don't make sense. A lot of narcissists also really rely on their appearance and the way they look, and a lot of narcissists choose partners based on their appearance and how they look and how they'll make them look, because they view their partners as objects and they look to show off that object. It's a shiny new toy. That is, I'm sure, a phrase if you're looking into narcissism and the effects on people and stuff, you'll hear shiny new toy a lot. So I haven't even actually started like touching on the write-up that I've done, but we're getting there. So the traits that people often have I wish I would have thought of a word, but as a prospect, I guess, of a narcissistic person who uses people for validation and to funnel their emotions and regulate themselves, is empathy, right? So whether you believe empathics exist or not, whether that's something that you're about empathy in general, we all have a sort of specific amount of empathy, but the more empathy that you have, the more sensitive you are to other people's feelings, needs, and emotions, makes you a vulnerable target. No ifs, ands, or buts about that, no question. So then we have the rescuers. Obviously, I'm guilty of that. I also feel like I hit pretty high on the target for empathy. Empathy is something for me. But rescuers, they tend to put, the needs of the other person before them. They'll go to great and problematic lengths to save someone or to show them, it's not all bad. It's not such a bad place. This big wide world we live in. And again, I don't even want to get into those existential questions that I have daily about why we're here on this earth, living it. Okay, but we're here and we're living it, and rescuing people is a very real thing. And that's what happened in my first relationship, where, again, I didn't want to put this person out. I wanted to let them know no matter what they did, I was still going to love them and I was going to be there for them. And, it was really hard on me, and I put myself in really tough and dangerous situations to do that. Rescuers will also, they get really pulled in by, they had such a hard life, such a hard upbringing. I'm going to show them a better life, a better alternative, a better way. They'll put themselves on the line to get them jobs, or, really just ask people around. They're constantly leaning on people around them as well to help rescue this person. So, rescuers and overly positive people, I feel like I also fall into that spectrum as well. I know that you can't control the things that happen to you all the time, but you can control the way you react to it. And that was something I learned at a very young age. And I just, positivity was my shield. And it not only did it make me happy, but it can help make people around you happy. And it can turn bad situations into something that's not so hard to take, I guess. So I enjoy being positive, but you can get into toxic positivity as well. Going down that road, girl, just wash your face, that's that kind of stuff like that. Oh yeah, we're not even gonna go down there. But being positive is a definite trait that narcissistic predators look for, and that, again, because they can bank off that, they can use that to their advantage. They can always turn it around on the other person. And to be fair, narcissists, I think at the end of the day, they just truly want to be happy, and they see all these traits in you, and they see those, again, as objects, not of a full person who came about these traits by living your life. They see them as on a shelf, and hey, like, this person is checking all my boxes on my shopping, on my narcissist list for my emotional abuse that I'm going to inflict on them. So great. Then we have overly forgiving people. Now, right, water under the bridge. I'm forgiving, but I don't forget. That's a rule that I've always had. It's the whole first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me. But sometimes, even with me, especially, in narcissistic relationships, I tend to be very overly forgiving. And I put myself in situations, vulnerable situations. I surrender myself almost completely. Again, to, people tend to sacrifice themselves. The overly forgiving people, the empathic people, the rescuers, they sacrifice themselves in order. It's like a type of, it's almost basically like uncontrolled. When your traits, those are great traits, being positive and being a rescuer and being empathic and being forgiving are great traits. But when you lump them all up and you put them in an unstable environment, you do create codependency. So codependency is huge for being taken advantage of, because you are putting other people's needs before your own. You want to see their success before you want to see your health. And that's not healthy. So sometimes when you get really wrapped up in all that, and the other person you think is a person who just needs a chance, when they're a person who practically has a formulated plan to keep you in this state, to keep you constantly trying to help them, and you don't realize that you've fallen into their trap. And so that can create a codependency in you that wasn't there before, and unhealthy traits that wasn't there before, but they do develop once you're constantly subjecting yourself to unhealthy situations. So then we also have the people who also end up being very vulnerable are those that grow up with narcissistic parents. Okay. But so moving on from that as well, again, the reason why narcissistic parents affect who you end up with as a partner is, as Dr. Romney said, it's the temperature in the room. It's normal for you. It's what you're used to, and it's normalized. You don't even know possibly that there are healthier relationships out there for you, or that you're living in a vicious cycle. It's just so much a part of your life, and you may or may not question, or you may struggle with it your whole life, but that makes you very vulnerable to narcissists as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go into a lot more depth. I'm hoping. I'm going into a lot more depth with a few more traits that are more like personality types, and in the next video, but I don't want it to go too long. And this girl wants to put some lip gloss on because I did not do that. And everyone take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.